Guys, it's your auntie here. We're here to discuss about trying to feel things within your body before your brain even has time to connect the dots. It's true, it's a skill that you can actually develop, and I highly recommend developing it because as a massage therapist for 20 plus years, I know that people store shit in their body that they did not intend to, but that's what our body does when we don't actually face any of the things that we're storing up in our body. Yeah, it's fun. So, let's say you have some trauma, okay? And you have let it build up and you haven't addressed any of it. So your body's going to start feeling it. The first line of defense is your nervous system. That's what feels it first. So that's why the nervous system right now is, you hear it as a hot topic. You gotta regulate, you gotta regulate, you gotta regulate. Okay, it is true, but to a point. You do need to regulate, and you do need to remind your body that it has its own regulation system and that it can take care of itself. And sometimes we just need to remind it of that. We've let it get too far out of whack, and we need to remind our nervous system that it can function. It can do this job. But what ends up happening is we go into the flight, fight, fawn, freeze kind of modes when we get triggered and stuff like that, or things come up. But our body doesn't actually know whether it's an emotional trigger or if it's a physical trigger. Now, our brain is really wired for protection. That's it. Protection only. That is its primary ear tofu function. Is this person safe? Are they in an environment that is safe? Are they being taken care of? Or do I need to start reacting to shit? Yeah, you probably should be reacting to some shit instead of trying to swallow it. So, my friends, what does that feel like? Well, trauma and stress always starts off as tightness in the jaw, tightness in the chest, tightness in the shoulders. Sometimes you'll feel it in your low back. Sometimes you might feel it in your knees. Sometimes you might feel it in your hands or your elbows or your shoulders. But each one of these things kind of has different meanings. And there's a wonderful woman called Louise P. Hayes, and she came up with a great book. Unfortunately, I do believe it's out of print right now. So you might have to check out your library, but it is A to Z what's going on in your body. And she kind of lists each body part and then kind of puts like an emotional reference with it. And it's kind of helpful, to be honest with you, because then you can kind of check with yourself a little bit. And it's just like, did I feel that? Yeah, okay. You know, like something pulling at your heart, it's really, you feel it right there, or, it's weighing on your mind, or it's weighing on your shoulders. This is where the weight of the world likes to sit, is on the shoulders. Remember Atlas holding the world on his shoulders? It's there for a reason, folks. These stories were made for a reason, and we can use those because it's a great example of what it is and how it relates to us, even after all these years. It's kind of fun to think about. So anyway, we have tightness in our jaw. And then if you have tightness in your jaw, especially a lot of women have a lot of tightness in their jaw because we swallow everything. We don't talk. We don't speak always our truth when we're supposed to speak it. So we kind of remain silent. So when we stay silent, we clench our jaw. Yeah. We start clenching that jaw right in through here. And then there's a little muscle right here that attaches kind of behind your ear. I don't know if I can get this to show you, but there's this S-shaped little muscle right here that kind of goes and attaches to your collarbone. And you can get one of these on each side, okay? This is your sternocleidomastoid. Yeah, your SCM. So it kind of comes in through here. And what ends up happening is that you get trigger points along this line. And when you have trigger points from tightening your jaw, guess what you get? Migraine headaches. Yeah. Kind of cuts off the blood supply to your brain a little bit, I feel like sometimes, because you do have, your blood vessel kind of going up through there. But I'm often throughout the day, constantly like massaging this, and I'll stick like my finger and stuff and just kind of pull down to kind of help like ease and relieve that tension and stress. So if I'm feeling stressed out through the day, I'll just kind of do that. Or even like I'll sit in a meeting or something like that. I'll just kind of sit here and just do this. Maybe one hand will be writing, one hand will be massaging. Nobody knows, nobody cares. Do what you need to do to make yourself relax and get through that moment. Okay? Now, the other thing that happens is that sometimes we get like panic attacks, sometimes depending on how serious it is. You get a shortness of breath. You kind of feel like there's weight on your chest, or like you just feel heaviness in your body. That's also a sign that something is really going on and you really need to address it, because our bodies are actually generally a lot lighter than what they should be a lot of times, but it's basically because of the shit that we're going through at that moment. So go through the shit, work it out, and try and make yourself as light as humanly possible. Just think of your teenage self. It's like, you're doing magic. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. That kind of feeling. That's what your body should feel, is light. Not stiff as a board, but your body should feel light. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point. I got to be honest with you. But I also have a question, and I would love it if a scientist or a doctor or somebody out there who knows better than I, or maybe there hasn't been any research done on this, but when I was in massage school, the person who was teaching us biology is just she said something, and it's always stuck with me. Disease in the body. So your cancers, your autoimmunes, your everyday things that are not genetic, because there are genetic diseases that get passed down. So I'm wondering if that's like an ancestral line of trauma that has been passed down, that has manifested itself in a way that is now in our DNA. That's one question. The second question, though, that relates more to now that we could actually figure out, is the trauma that you had, okay, and the time that the disease showed up, the autoimmune disease, because I really feel like nature has a fucking sense of humor. And like, if you think about it, our immune system is to protect our body. And if you go through some very traumatic event, some abuse of some sort, emotional, physical, sexual, whatever that is for you, once you have gone through that, when was your diagnosis? How many years after was it? Second thing that I'm also kind of wondering is the correlation. Did you work on it right away and like work it out, or did you ignore it, the trauma, and let it kind of build up in your body? And how long did that take? Because that's something that seems like it's fascinating, because as I was saying, she was saying disease in your body, your autoimmune, your cancers, is dis-ease within yourself. So something is going on mentally that's putting dis-ease into you. And I'm wondering if there is like that correlation, because our mind-body connection can fuck with us in so many different ways. And I'm just kind of wondering if that is actually a thing or not. I don't know. But these are the things that I'm curious about. I don't necessarily think that you can, once you heal the trauma, that the autoimmune disease or the disease itself kind of goes away. That I don't know. I honestly, I don't. I'm a human being. I'm not a scientist. I have no idea. Nobody's ever tried, I don't think anybody's ever tried that in so far in humanity. So I couldn't tell you. But I do know that a lot of autoimmune disease seem to kind of come up because of trauma and not facing it. And because our immune system is what protects us. Okay? It protects our bodies from disease. Huh? So, if you're not protecting your mind, your heart, and your soul by working through your issues of that trauma, that you are creating, your body is then creating, not you, but your body is then creating a way of a form of protection because you aren't taking care of your immune system, which is supposed to protect you. So you're not protecting yourself, so your body is not going to protect itself. And it starts turning the tables against you. See, these are the things that I wonder about. Honestly. Because like cancer is a buildup over time. And then you can feed it, you know, with the crap that we eat. And it can just grow exponentially. So my scientists, my doctors, my healthcare professionals, and my health researchers, honestly, pick up that mantle, please. I'm really curious. I'm just an everyday human being. But these are the thoughts that I have in my head, and I'm just kind of curious if it relates. Because there is a lot of connection between our mind and our body and our spirit. And it's kind of the Holy Trinity, if you will. Mind, body, spirit, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I mean, there's the threes throughout the universe, okay? So how can we get there? How can we figure this out? I hope somebody can help out there. But anyhow, I'm trying to help you, not help myself. So let's Missy Elliott this shit. We're going to do a little backup. We're going to reverse it. And we'll get to it. Okay? So now we have the trauma in our body. You feel the weight on your shoulders. You feel the tightness in your chest. You feel the tightness in here. You're starting to get like headaches and stuff like that. Starting to get panic attacks. These are the things that end up kind of coming up. But it's not just that, because then you also have like sleep disruptions. Excuse me. Also hypervigilance, like being totally aware of everything within your surroundings and what is going on. I know a lot of EMTs, police, firefighters have a lot of hypervigilance problems. And it's something that, you know, you guys kind of need to work on. I mean, it's great to be that aware within the situation, but it's also to your detriment as well. So you need to kind of find that balance between it. You can do it. It can be done, but it might take you a little while. Okay? So it's all about finding that balance within it. And I think that with everything, it's always a balance. And we either go to one extreme or the other, but we never level it out. And that's what we need to do, is level it out. Level it out. We can do it. We can. We got this. Our bodies are just very fascinating. And they have a mind of its own. It really, truly does. And it thinks for itself. And if we ignore what we're feeling, it's going to start building up within our body, because it just does in different ways. Or sexual abuse. This is a great one, especially for women. Sometimes women will gain weight in order to protect themselves. Now that I've kind of gone through that, I'm actually losing weight now. I can actually lose weight now because I was hanging on to it for so long. But now it's starting to work itself out. And I don't know if it can do that with like big diseases like, lupus or any other autoimmune disease or cancers. That I don't know. I don't have that scientific mind for that. But if there's some researchers out there who want to try and get some more information on that, I would really appreciate it. I'm not going to complain about it. I'd appreciate that information. Because there's a lot of things that we haven't discovered in our bodies and how they react to things. And I think that we can, if we just spend the time to do it. The same way with like women's health. If we could actually, run some of these tests on women and see if there is differences, because there might actually be. Our biology is a little bit different than men's. So, and seeing as which all the medical tests and stuff were done on men and not necessarily on women, maybe we should probably, back it up and reverse that and maybe give that a little bit of a shot. So, that's how our body ends up kind of destroying itself a little bit through unprocessed trauma. But the other thing that you can also do with listening to your body is how you feel within your friend groups and family. Because you feel things when you hang out with them. Are you paying attention to those signs? So what you want to listen to is before you go out and hang out with other people, check with yourself. See where you're at. What is your baseline before you go and meet them? So check in, see, am I happy? Am I sad? Am I anxious? How am I feeling at the moment right now? And that's going to be your baseline. Now, if you're already drained and tired before you even go, it's not really going to be a great assessment for you. Just being honest. But if you are feeling happy and elated and, just kind of a nice sense of calm within yourself, fucking fantastic. That is your baseline. So when you go and hang out with your friends or your family, how are you feeling when you're around them? With the conversations that are happening, with the stuff that is going on, how do you feel? After a while, if you continue to feel happy, joyful, excited, then fucking fantastic, man. Because they probably are your people. They probably do really, truly, you enjoy being around them. Awesome. Fucking fantastic. Okay? But we don't always feel that. Sometimes we feel drained. We feel tired. Some people make us feel exhausted or angry. I've had that happen a couple of times when I was completely happy and all of a sudden I got real angry real quick. And it wasn't anything that anybody said. It's just like all of a sudden this seething rage came up. And it wasn't even something that we were talking about because we were talking about like a movie, So I don't know what that was. But, I was picking up on something around from somebody. And sometimes you can do that. If you listen enough, you can start feeling that within other people. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's a cool little gift. But it's picking up on that discernment from other people and their energies is essentially what you're reading. But if you're feeling drained, tired, and exhausted, then these people may not be your people. Okay? They may be actually just draining you, making you feel tired, you know? So then you have to think to yourself, how do I deal with this? Because, you know, maybe you work with these people, maybe they're family, and, you know, you can't, well, you can, but you can't always necessarily get rid of them. But family can be challenging, okay? And that dynamic is a dynamic all within itself. And sometimes there's love there, sometimes there isn't. And you just kind of have to limit your time if they kind of irritate you. Take breaks, you know, breathe, do your somatic exercises, find your center balance again. You know, sometimes we have to just do that because it is family and they're not going anywhere unless you want to make it go somewhere. And that is really a personal choice up to you on what you get to decide what you want to do and how you want to handle it. Now, the other thing is that with that, what do you do with that information? If I'm with my group of friends and I'm just trying to discover it, I'll like excuse myself and go to the bathroom for a few minutes and just kind of try and see, okay, I'll do some breathing. I'll just kind of ground myself and I'll just kind of ask. It's just kind of like, is this me that I am feeling or is it them that I am feeling? And then once I get that answer, generally it's them. But sometimes it might be me, because sometimes in your conversations, people will push a boundary or a belief idea or an ideal that you have, that you firmly stand on. I mean, like you stand on this principle. But you don't say anything. And this person said something that kind of crosses that line for you a little bit, but you're not saying anything. You feel that within yourself. You feel that kind of, I don't want to say self-betrayal because that's not really what it is. It's just that you're not standing up for your belief and speaking out to them, because you're trying to be polite. You're trying to be the good person. But you also have to pick your battles though too. Like if you know the person and if they're receptive to it, then go ahead and say it. Say the thing. But if you don't really respect the person, then also say the thing. Let them know. I don't like that. And then excuse yourself and go away if you need to. It's okay. Let them just go away. They'll survive. There's millions of people on this planet, okay? Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. Now, the other thing that you need to kind of watch is if you are around a bunch of people that drain you, if you are feeling stuck and stagnant, you need to look at a couple different things in your life. Is it the place? Because sometimes it is the place. It really, truly is. Like you need to move out of your location. Like Jesus Christ did not find who he was until he left the Bethlehem, okay? Because nobody could see him except for as that kid, okay? So ask yourself, are you still in your same small town? Are you still, I mean, not unless you thrive in that environment and you feel like you're thriving in your life, then by all means, continue on with what is making you thrive. But if you are not feeling like you are thriving in the area that you live in, maybe you need to consider moving somewhere else. And I will be showing you, I'll be doing another clip. This will be a little series that I do. And I will be making these short little videos on how to kind of help yourself and some different things and different ideas that I did. And if it works for you, great. But like I said, I can always talk to my spirit and ancestor team anytime that I want to. And I can hear them because I've cleared out my shit. But if you're still in the muck and the shit in your head, I'll teach you in a separate video. This is going to be later on, okay? Way later on. I'm not in the mood to do this right now. But I will show you guys how to at least ask your spirit team and your ancestors how to do yes or no questions. And it can give you some guidance. But it is a little witchy. Just gonna warn you, my little religious fervors out there might upset you a little bit, but it helps. Because I get decision fatigue a lot. And it really helps me that I can just sit here and ask a yes or no question and be able to get that answer, and then I can move on with my life. But I have gotten off the subject. But like I said, that'll be further on down the line. Well, so look forward to that video. I'll make sure I tell you on social media when I post it, okay? But it's going to be a little while. I'm exhausted right now, and I'm a little tired. And that's okay. We all get those days, those moments, and you need to rest. And so maybe after all the brain aneurysms that you've been having, all the traumas and the dramas and the llamas chasing around in your head, sometimes you do need to just rest and let it the fuck go for the day. And so I think that's what I'm going to do right now, because I think I'm pretty much done. I'm spent. The podcast is out. I hope you enjoy it. It is truly, truly a love letter to you guys. And I hope that you enjoy my perspective and my unique take on things, because it is very different than what I am seeing and hearing out there that other people are providing. So I am an agent of change. I don't know why, but I have always thrived in change. I hope you guys have a blessed day. I hope that kind of helped you. I hope that wasn't too chaotic, but cheers. All right, my loves. Just a little PS, okay? If you are living in an area in which you do not feel like that you're stagnant, you're stuck, you're not moving forward, everyone around you is just draining your energy, sucking the ever-loving lifeblood out of you, you're probably right on that, okay? But I'm hoping that you actually have the courage and the guts to get out of that situation, because it is a situation, and you are the only one who can get yourself out of it. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but if you're afraid, I understand that. But I was also afraid to come here, and I sold everything just for a chance for fucking 6 months. For 6 months, just to get out of the United States and to experience something different for once in my life. You gotta risk it for the biscuit, my babes. And I hope that you will risk it for the biscuit, because life does get so much better. I mean, yeah, there's stuff that's gonna come up. It's gonna come up, but work through it. Work through it when it does come up. And trust me, when you do that, once you get to your new place, and if you haven't found where to go, like I said, I'll explain how to talk to your spirit guides in another episode, a little series of this. But I hope that you have the courage to just move. Find new friends. Find new friendships. Find new family. Choose your family this time. Because not every relationship or family is blood, okay? Some of my best friends that I've had throughout the years have been family to me. And you can find your family. They're out there. They're waiting for you. They really, truly are. But you have to have the courage enough and the guts enough to face it, to find it, and to be it. I love you guys.